There it is.
We're live.
Hey, everybody. It's still light outside. I'm going to launch the chat so I can kind of keep an eye on who's here and who's asking questions.
Yeah.
Is it warm where you were this week?
Yeah, we just had a tornado warning in our town, so everything turned pitch black.
Jesus.
Yes.
It went away?
It went away, but it was really creepy.
I thought maybe we would get some spiciness on the show tonight.
Yeah. Blown away by a tornado. I'm sure.
Like a video of you screaming, hanging onto the window as you're being sucked out into the vortex. Somebody save my comics. I don't care about me. All right, let me see. I'm launching it. Oh, wow, I'm already there. Wow, there's a bunch on already. 15 on. Todd Hobeck. Sorry, guys. I'm going to be off the live chat for a while. My son has baseball and can't watch a rerun of that. No, you can't. That's it. Definitely. Go to that thing first. That's more important.
Absolutely.
Hey, DS. KBDM's here. Yickety Yackety. Christopher Joy. DS Comics. Bigglesworth. Who else is on here? Music Chatter. Hey. Chris Winfrey. No date tonight, huh, Chris? Oh, hey, EC Ed was a surprise appearance.
Who?
EC Ed.
Oh, wow.
You know what? I just realized, too. I got to turn my microphone on. It's on, but it's not. My lapel one's not on. Let me know if you notice an improved sound.
I can hear you.
There we go.
I can hear you loud and clear.
It sound better? Eugene C. I think I say that right now. Man from Beantown. My daughter's up in Boston, Man from Beantown. She just sent me a picture of the Old North Church she walked by today, so that was kind of cool. AG Surfer and John Venezuela.
All right.
There's others out there that don't comment, so I can't see them.
I met AG.
Welcome, everybody.
I met AG a couple weeks ago.
I can't hear you, Anthony.
Can't hear me? I don't know.
Uh-oh. Anthony's been having some technical difficulties this evening.
Can you hear me? No? Nothing?
He's going to plug his headset in. And hopefully he goes live. Oh, let me see. He's blinking in and out.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
All right. He can hear me okay.
Absolutely.
Don't know exactly what's causing this. They can hear both of you, but there's a little feedback interference.
Let me try the headphones. This might make things worse.
Oh, Ed, I guess this is a Q&A, and it can go both ways. Are you back down in Atlanta, or are you?
I can hear you.
Salt Lake now, full time. I wish there was a way we could do this live where I could hear everyone talking. Like
can you hear me?
We're all out there in the room.
Can't hear me.
Everyone would just overtalk each other. It would be impossible. All right. Everyone's saying they can hear us both, Anthony. So I don't know what's going on my end. Let me try one more thing. Isn't this fun to watch everybody play IT tech? I'll go back to the built-in. All right, so I went back to the built-in microphone. Let's see if that helps Anthony out. No, it doesn't. Oh, wow. So that's a big move, Ed. So you're flying back to Atlanta, and then you're going to drive everyone out the next week. I hear you, Anthony.
Oh, you can?
Yes.
Did you hear me when I had these on?
No.
Oh, all right. I'll keep them off then.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's weird. They were saying there was some kind of odd feedback, echoey feedback, but I don't, reverb maybe. I don't know what's causing that.
I don't know. Maybe it's something with my signal. Like I said, we had a tornado.
Oh.
Tornado thing going on around here. So I don't know if that's affecting what.
It's 8 minutes in, so this has got to happen. So a friend of ours got me these really cool Genesee glasses. They're themed. This one has the Block Beer logo kind of on it, where it's always been a little goat. So So all week I mentioned about trying to get all my books ready for sale.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot different process than when you list on eBay. eBay, you're usually listing books that are higher dollar value, and you take a few nice pictures, a quick description, and away you go. And you're only doing a handful. Maybe I usually don't have more than 30 things, 30, 40 items listed at a time because it just gets way too much to manage.
Yeah.
But when you're doing 12, 15 boxes of books, it's a lot different. There's no photos, there's no description, but you have to price out. And I think the biggest thing what I've found is it's the fear of leaving something extremely valuable in a box that you didn't price correctly, and then having that horrible interaction where you see the glee on somebody's face because they stealth bought a book out of your box. You had it for $5 and you didn't pay attention to the latest John Campia or Collider report, and that book is worth $200 now. And we've all experienced that where we found that in a dollar bin book, where you've been going through, and I've heard of people finding Spider-Man 300s years ago, but a few years ago before it really went crazy, finding those in boxes. So I think that's what slows me down. I almost feel like I have to check every book, but I do use pricing guides that I look on out there, and for the most part, it's just the heavy lifting's done. I uploaded everything into these things, so then I look at 2 of them, and then if I get a sense that a book is gonna be or is something a little more valuable than say a $20 book, I will just go in and do the sold listing on eBay. And that works best for me.
Yeah. You're getting all ready for this con this weekend.
Yes, it's the Victory Con, and I grabbed a picture of it. So I believe it was Bigglesworth right before I came on asked me about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at the Pinnacle Athletic Campus, and it's in Victor, New York. I'm trying to look at the time here. Sorry about everybody if I'm squinting. Where do those glasses go to? Get an extreme close-up. Well, it's Saturday only, and it's 11 to 5.
Okay.
And the zip code looks like it's 14. I can't read it. 14584, I think. Anyway, it's Victor, New York. So if you look up Victory Con, Mike will be there. I'll be there. I imagine some of the people from the YouTube community will be on there as well. But we'll see. I've never done a big con like that before. I've only done like little shows, sidewalk sales, small VFW type things.
Yeah. Well, so this weekend,
there'll be real buyers there. There's cosplay. There's all that stuff going on. I don't know who the guests are, artists and writers. I know some guys are coming. I don't know who they are. And then they'll usually have some sci-fi stuff going on. It seems like every one of these things I go to, no matter how small it is, one of the Power Rangers is there. I don't know who any of them are. It always seems like there's always one Power Ranger available somewhere. So, bottoms up.
That is a pretty cool glass.
It's fun. And there's actually the Genesee Brewery. They opened a restaurant now, and there's a small falls here. I think I've talked about before. It's called Upper Falls here in Rochester, and they have a balcony you can sit out and eat, and you look out onto the gorge of the waterfall. So it's a really cool place to go in the summertime, especially. And then they have a rooftop area where the young hipster kids, after they get out of work, they all go up there on the roof and act like they're in a beer commercial and drink. Everyone's drinking like Mick Ultra and all that stuff. Let me see here. Power Rangers will always be around. You're right, they will be.
Yeah,
Mastodon Comics and Collecting. Hello to both of us. A lot of you guys I know are on, but I don't know that you do videos. I see the model vault. So I'm guessing you collect models. So any questions tonight to start things off?
I didn't get any questions.
All right. I had one from Bigglesworth, and he asked, would it be worthwhile to drive up from Pennsylvania to the Victor show? And I know that it's also listed on Facebook. The promoter is a good guy. I just don't know how good he is at promoting these shows. So I know Mike's been going around handing out a lot of flyers, and um, I don't know. I looked at I don't have Facebook, so Mike showed me what the Facebook listing was, and it didn't really list things. And then I started realizing, looking at cons, looking at this because it is con season. I didn't want to talk about that tonight, but they all don't do a very good job, and either they're not good at it, or the people haven't committed yet, so they can't list who's going to be in the artist alley, that kind of thing. I don't know what it is, because I know for HeroesCon I was looking at it, and a few of the things you would click on, it would say, list coming soon. I'm like, well, soon, it's almost June 1st. You better have that list real quick, because tickets I think are on sale for HeroesCon till the 11th, and then they're at the door only. So I got mine on Tuesday, so I'm all booked, flight, hotel, the whole thing. So I'm ready to go. All that's left to do now is see how many bags with dollar signs on them I can fill. So I can go down to HeroesCon and get mugged in the parking lot. The way I look at it, you just got to make lemonade out of lemons. If that happens, it'll make a great video. So everyone can enjoy my misfortune. As long as I don't get shot, I guess, or stabbed, that wouldn't be good. Although, again, I would probably make for a very good video. If it happens, I'll make sure I get the video out and do a selfie for everybody. I'll go live as I'm laying there bleeding to death in the parking garage. I'm sure, even at that dire moment, I'm sure my thumbs down guy will show up and give me a thumbs down. It'd be like the final thumbs down.
Yeah, I checked your last video, and had by the time I checked it out, it was really soon after you released it. I'd already had 3 thumbs down, so I guess you got 2 friends.
My latest video did?
Yeah, I think so.
Only 1 minute and 44 seconds. I don't understand how they could hate it so much. Although I'm starting to think maybe that's why they don't like it.
No, it's somebody that just likes the thumbs down videos. Well, like I said, I think we have ideas. And
yeah, we got ideas. And I got my specs on here. Let me read here. What books are you looking for at the con this weekend, Luther? Well, I have a pretty short list. That was AG Surfer Asset. I'm after, like X-Men 1, obviously. Everyone else is chasing that book. Tales of Suspense 39 is a book I really want. Obviously, Amazing Fantasy 15. And part of the allure for me to set up and sell at this show is you will get people who will come in and make you offers. And I don't know if you remember the haul that Mike and I did, where we drove through that blizzard, and we went to the comic shop in Buffalo, and we stopped off at a dealer who was doing a very small show in a small town called Batavia, not far from here. And a guy walked up, and he bought an entire collection from the guy, and it was loaded with Silver Age full runs, all the big books, Fantastic Four, One Hulk, they were all in there. And that just walked up to the guy, and he was the smallest dealer there. So I think what can happen is sometimes these guys will come up to a dealer at a show, and they're intimidated because it's like a Bob Storm or somebody like that that is has been in the business a long time, and maybe they're a little intimidating to deal with one-on-one. So this guy was just him and his buddy, and a couple of the long tables like you normally see in their long boxes, and they just started talking. The guy said, "I got this collection," and that was it. They took a look at it and they bought it. So part of it for me is if I'm at the show and I get an opportunity to buy something or a collection, that would be great.
Okay, great.
Anyway, the book I'm looking for, I also have my fun list. Anthony saw one of them in his video I watched this morning, Tales from the Crypt 46. That's a book I want to get. Now, that's not a inexpensive book, but I think for around $300 I should be able to find a nice copy in raw, I think. But,
yeah, you should.
Yeah.
You should.
And there's some other ECs. I have a short list of EC books. There's probably about a dozen of them. I tend to do more towards the sci-fi end of it, where you and Mike are more into the horror end of it.
So you want more like Weird Science?
Yeah, Weird Science. That whole series, how it changed its name. It was Weird Science and
fantasy, weird.
Yeah.
I'm not too knowledgeable on that. You would have to ask EC. EC.
I can probably rattle them off.
Yeah. I think he's got them all.
All right, and Man from Beanstown says does Mike sell his books in a particular spot, like a website? Mostly Mike sells in person these days, but he also, I think he's kicking around an idea, maybe starting a website too. So and both of us have experienced lately, Mike more than me, a lot of eBayers, either they get buyer's remorse or whatever it is, and they just want to return stuff. And he's gotten a rash of guys that will be the winning bidder on his auctions, and then shortly after say, "Yeah, I don't want the book," or I can't afford the book," or what some reason why they don't want the book, and that's just a real hassle. So I have noticed that the Facebook marketplace, at least around me, my brother monitors it constantly. He always sends me texts during the day, and there's a lot of books, and it used to just be all 90s direct, but now I'm starting to see Silver Age books and bronze books, and they're really kind of fair priced. So I think that's where a lot of the flippers have gone to.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful. I mean, because you don't have that protection that you have on eBay when you're just buying them.
Yeah, that's true.
And you got to always, if you do that, everybody out there, don't ever meet somebody at their house and don't let them come to your house.
Yeah.
Always meet in a public place like Starbucks or something like that. Because you like to think everyone in the hobby is a good guy or girl, but you don't know that. The whole thing would just be a scam to get you a loan.
Yeah. Yeah, you can never be too careful nowadays. Unfortunately, that's just the end of the world.
And like you always say, Anthony, anywhere there's money, criminals are going to follow.
Mm.
It's just unfortunate, just the way it is. I do think I answered all the questions from last week. If I didn't, and you're on the chat tonight, please ask for one. All right, so somebody says, buy or not. New Mutants #1, ungraded, seems to be unread. Very nice looking book from my LCS. Give it a good look, because I can tell you I've sold a lot of 9.6s, and I'm getting around $50 a piece for those, and that's slabbed. So if it's like a 9.4, and just count up the tick marks on the spine, make sure there's no creases, count the pages. Make sure staples aren't popped, that kind of thing. But yeah, $20 is a great buy, I think. I don't know what you think, Anthony, but
no, I agree.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool cover too. That it's very simple, and the purple really kind of pops.
Yeah.
All right, Ed says, "What's the Salt Lake Comic-Con convention on your calendar, September 5th?" Although I have no idea whether it's any good. But that's beside the point. Yeah, I do have a list that I looked at. There's a site, and I can give it out to everybody that it kind of monitors and lets you know every con that's coming up. I looked, there's like 6 this weekend all over the country. And that's not including the little ones like Mike and I are going to, the little regional ones. So it's definitely become a lot bigger. And I do think a lot of people have gotten weary of shopping on eBay. I've noticed that one tactic that a lot of dealers are starting to do is they may take a CGC book, submit it, and they only get say a 9.0. But it looks like it's a 9.6 or higher. So they'll crack it out and they'll sell it on eBay with kind of crappy pictures, hoping that someone sees a 9.6 or a 9.8. And it's snowballing. Because I think what happens is that if they have success at it, and they got nothing to do at these shows once they're setting up if it's slow, but talk to each other. And they go, hey, you know what I did this weekend? I cracked some 9.0s and some 8.5s, and I sold them on eBay as 9.4s, So I think a lot of people are getting burned that way. And to me, it looks like the picture getting worse on eBay, not better. Used to be, everyone would do the limit to 12. You get every corner, top and bottom, flipped over, inside, both front covers. Now you're lucky if you get 2 pictures. Usually it's the front, and that's it.
A lot of times these pictures are in bags.
That one guy there, he does have nice stuff, but I think it's comics for less. He always says something like, I don't want to take the comic out of the bag because it would damage it or something like that.
Okay.
And that guy's a huge seller. He sells a ton of stuff. And Leroy that we like to go to, they're somehow affiliated. I think they buy together or something like that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well.
Anyway. So.
Well, I'm going to a con this weekend in Bordentown.
So let me look. Which one is it? Let me see if it's on my big list here.
Bordentown.
Bordentown. All right. And what city is it in? Oh, there it is. Bordentown Comic Show, June 2nd.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, let me read your list off. There's one called Con Carolinas. It's in Concord. It's the 31st through the 2nd. That's a nice 3-day con. Then you have the Marble City Comic Con in Knoxville, Tennessee, and it's the 1st and the 2nd. Then you got PopCon in Provo, Utah, June 1st. So Ed, if you're out there, hit PopCon up and let us know how it is. And then Comic Con Revolution in Chicago, Rosemont, Illinois, 1st, 2nd. Then you got yours, Border Town Comic Con just on the 2nd. So that's just on Sunday. So yeah, that's a whole bunch. And then I'm looking on the list, and there's Niagara Falls Con. That's near me. Most of these are smaller. I don't see any really big ones till you get pretty well down the list. You have EpicCon in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Is that big, Anthony?
I have no idea. I try to avoid Atlantic City.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought that's for the foreigners to go to, right?
Yeah.
And I've heard about the Ace Comic Con before. That's in Seattle. That's at the end of June. Yeah, I don't see any really big ones here. Montreal, that might be kind of fun because that sounds like it's a fun city.
Montreal?
Yeah. It's like going to Europe, and that's not that far away. Comicopolis in Lockport, Illinois. That's in July. Yeah, I don't see any real big ones. There used to be a good one in Pittsburgh, but it was closer to, I think, Monroeville it was called, maybe?
Monroeville. Why does that town sound familiar?
Maybe Dr. Von Scholes mentioned it.
Or maybe it was that mall in Dawn of the Dead was in Monroeville.
Here's one that's in August 23rd through the 25th. It's called Bubba Fest in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Aptly named.
It doesn't have the word comic in it, so maybe it's just a big, con full of guys named Bubba walking around.
Yeah, walking around with their shirts, off.
It's awesome. I had a picture of a guy dressed as Wonder Woman. I was going to use as my thumbnail, but it was really hideous.
Where did I saw a picture of a guy dressed as Slave Girl Leia.
Oh no!
Obviously, he shouldn't have been dressed as Slave Girl Leia.
No, that's it for the cons. I guess there isn't as many as I thought there was. But usually I find I like going to these little regional ones better anyway.
I'm looking to hit some dollar bins.
Yeah.
I'm trying to finish my Spawn collection.
Oh.
I like collecting Spawn.
Yeah. I kind of like the other way of selling right now that Nick is kind of monkeying around with, where he's going through all of his old boxes, getting ready to sell them, and he's doing the free giveaway pile, and then he's going to do the sell pile, and I don't know quite how the mechanism's going to work yet, but that might be a great way of doing it too, because if we all know each other on here, then there isn't, you're not that worried about it, and if you do it on PayPal, there's not much that can go wrong anyway, I guess. So. But we do have some questions here. Let me look them up.
All right. Let's get some questions.
Eugene C. says, question for both of you. Shopping question for cons, either multi-day or single-day cons. Do you believe there is a sweet spot time or day that is optimal for making purchases? I have thoughts on that. But you can go first.
You want me to go first?
Sure.
I think the sweet spot to buy on multi-day cons is the last day, because the stock that has not sold yet, some of the dealers are looking to get rid of to help pay for their table or to leave with more of a profit, and they're more willing to make a deal with you. Whereas if let's say I went to the New York Con on Thursday, which I'm going to do this year, and I see something for $150, I say we take 125, they most likely won't do it because it's the first day of the con. It has 4 days to sell. But if I went back on Sunday and I saw that same book, I can maybe get it for 100.
Yeah.
Just trying to move it. So I do think that the last day of a multi-day con is the sweet spot day to get deals or to get things somewhat.
So here's the question, and I'm going to jump on his question. So is there a method to maybe you do go on Thursday, offer him 120, knowing he's not going to take it, and then you show up again Sunday, and this time you offer him 100?
Well, I don't know if I would do that.
I didn't know if that would work or not.
I tell you what, I offered you 125. Nah, the deal's $80 now.
Yeah, it's going the wrong way.
Yeah. I don't do that. Maybe some people do that with success. I don't know. It's just not something that I would do.
Yeah. I usually, if I don't know the deal already, the first thing I like to do is get to talk with them a little, get some kind of rapport going on, so you can kind of see what kind of person they are and what kind of dealer they are. I think you can learn a lot that way.
I like to go the first day to 2 of a multi-day con because
Mike has told me, and he has good success at this, is that first day, that first hour is critical if you're looking for key books, because a lot of times they're gone. If you wait till Sunday, they are gone. And you and I saw that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but I think, so that's why it depends. In answering your question, Eugene, for me, my thoughts on this would be, it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for ultra high-end key, chances are you better get there that first couple hours. And
don't expect a deal.
Yeah, you're not going to get a great deal, but you'll at least get the book. If you wait till even Saturday, usually, and there was a Friday, chances are it's going to be gone.
Yeah, I mean, I would say,
so if it's a mid-level book, like not like a dollar bin, but like say it's I don't know, an $80 book, and you only want to spend 60 or 50 or whatever. If it's there on Friday, it's probably going to be there by Sunday, and then that is when you approach them. And the other good thing that I always like to do is bundle as much as you can.
Yeah, that's good too.
You and Mike and I, we do that corporation thing where if there's 2, 3 of you together, you buy 15 books together and say, here's $2,000, and we all know what we need to put in for that.
Yeah, that's a good method.
Yeah, that works out good. I know when Mike and I go to private dealers and we buy together that way, and it works out really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of different methods that could really work to your benefit when going to a con, whether it's multi-day or just one day. I mean, there's several different things.
Yeah, this one day thing is going to be interesting because there is all that goes out the window. There's no gamesmanship at a one day con. You got to be ready to go. It's the see it, buy it type thing. As soon as if you see it and it's a book you want and it's even close to the price you want, you better grab it because someone else is gonna.
That's why, I mean, getting back to multi-day cons, that's why I go on the New York Con. That's why I go on Thursday. Thursday is the day for me to look for the big books that I really, really want to get, that I know I'm going to be paying a decent amount of money for. Then I go again another day. And it's just, just to walk around, hang out, see if I can maybe get a deal on a book that I sort of wanted.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you got an EC book on that last day where we walked by that kind of like it was a dreary booth in the back. And you threw I remember it was a crazy low ball offer, and the guy's like, I can do that. We both looked at each other like, what?
It was the first Old Witch.
Yeah. I mean, you were almost kind of half joking when you said it, and then the guy's like, I can do that. And you looked at me like, what? What just happened? I just got that book for like 80% off. It was the last day. You know what it is? Maybe he hadn't sold a lot, and that just paid for his table.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, sometimes dealers that maybe not big dealers like Bob Storms or Greg Reese or anything, but like somewhat sort of here and there dealers might get a little spooked if they're not moving things that they really want to move, and might be willing to work.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
What was I gonna say though? Yeah, that's it. You said a book. I always get an EC book. It seems like for the last year, I've always been getting an EC book.
It's going to be interesting to see this. For whatever reason, in this area, a lot of people are in the EC books, and they're like the EC mob. I see the same probably dozen or so guys, and they're into it, and that's all they collect. And Mike and I see them at the shows, and they're ready to go. One of the guys keeps his money in a Ziploc bag that looks like it's from 1984. and he has a little tattered list, and it's one of those tiny spiral notebooks. I see him at every show that we go to. But that's what he's looking for is pre-covered horror.
Yeah, I'm 9 away from finishing my Tales from the Crypt run.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I got some other questions here. Don't want to miss out. I'm sorry if I missed out on these questions. The Moto Vault says, what title runs have you guys completed or trying to complete? I'm 10 issues away from complete ASM. Wow.
That's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah.
Well, I already told you mine, so you go.
Yeah. Well, I kind of already did. I mostly had full Marvel runs from like probably 1971 all the way through, I don't know, whenever I got out, 93. and I've sold off a large portion of those. I really kept everything from like 81 back, and I'm moving everything else. And then there's a lot of runs in that too that I'm just going to let go because if I haven't read them and looked at them for over 2 years, to me, there's no sense hanging on to it. And I have a lot of them digitally. And then the key ones that I really remember I'll hang on to. It isn't just key books that the marketplace finds valuable. It's books to me. Some of them that I've highlighted in videos that I just love them. There's memories tied to them where I read it, where I bought it, who I was with, that kind of thing. And I won't let those books go, especially because they aren't worth very much. It wouldn't make sense to sell something for $3 if it meant a lot to me.
Yeah. I just remembered, other than Tales, I'm trying to finish my Spawn run. Now, I'm not trying to get every single variant there is, because some of the Spawn variants are very, very expensive. But I am trying to work on my Spawn run. I got a lot of the big books, but there's still a couple big books I still need, and a large amount of others. But I enjoy that. That's like a guilty pleasure for me. I love collecting Spawn.
Now, it's more of a long-term thing, but you are planning to finish Spider-Man run, right, up to 100 or 102?
Oh yeah. It's it's funny you mentioned it. Today I created my want list 2019 to 2024. You should see what's on that list. And a lot of the amazing Spider-Mans are on that list. Books I don't have and books I need to upgrade.
So how far up are you going?
I'm probably going to go to 200.
Okay. Wow.
200, maybe even 300. Why not go to 300?
Yeah, why not go to 300?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. But after that, that'd be
it. Yeah. So let's see what else we got here. Ed's schooling all of us on weird science, weird fantasy. Yeah, they were. And then they have weird science fantasy. I like ones with the rocket ship.
Here's one for you. Weird Science, the movie. Wasn't that based off of a story in Weird Science, one of the issues of Weird Science, loosely?
You mean the one with where they create the woman?
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know what it was.
I think it was. I think loosely.
Yeah, I love that movie. That had was that Kelly LeBrock?
Yeah.
And Bill Paxton was the older jerk brother, wasn't he? Chet?
Yeah, he stole the show. I mean, there was a lot of good character actors in it, but Bill Paxton kind of stole the show on that one.
Yeah. Well, and then Anthony Michael Hall was in it.
Yeah, he was. They were okay. And Robert Downey Jr. was in it.
Oh yeah, you're right. He was in it.
Robert Downey Jr. was in it.
Friend, though, the other main character, I don't think that kid was in anything else. At least I don't remember him in anything.
He's a professor, actually.
Oh really?
He wasn't in anything else, I don't think. But he's a professor.
Huh.
So he did well afterwards. He had a nice little career afterwards in teaching. So that's good.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let me see. DS has a question, and it's all in caps. Official. Have you guys had any problems buying books online and then seeing defects when you get it that were filtered out by the camera in the photos? I'm fortunate enough I haven't, but I have heard of that, where the pictures are either photoshopped or maybe they were cropped in such a way that a corner was off in all of the photos, or a precisely held thumb over something, say, maybe some color touch on the spine, the way that the book was being held. I'm always leery of books being held in someone's hand. It might be a magician thing for me, because like they're doing some kind of close-up magic and they're tricking you. I don't see any reason why you would ever hold a book and not just prop it up and take the picture.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but.
No, but I haven't ever gotten anything that has been altered. I did get some that they didn't mention that they reeked of, smelled like someone had smoked 50 packs of cigarettes and breathed on the books.
And died.
And the guy got mad at me. He's like, "I'm not. My house is clean." And I'm like, "Who said your house wasn't clean, man? All I'm telling you is these books you sent me smell like a cigar. I don't know. I don't know what you did. What do you mean my wife's ugly?" I'm like, "No, whoa. No one said anything like that. I just said the books are yellow and they reek like tobacco smoke. So I don't want them. And you didn't mention it in your listing. So." I wouldn't have bought them if you said these things freak like this. So that was funny. He said, my house is clean. What are you saying? It's like I didn't say your house isn't clean. Anyway,
now I'm starting to think it's not.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like a little kid. They're like, I didn't break that. And it's like, didn't break what? Why did you say that?
It's funny. I have a friend. Before she's now divorced, and she was thankfully, but her husband was sort of like that. He was always up to something. He was like has a mind of a child. Anyway, she would say to him, "Hey, Rob," and he would go, "Nothing." What? I didn't even get a chance to ask anything.
That was on the computer when I walked in.
It's like you won't. I'm not even gonna get into some of the stuff, but he would have like reactions like that, like you just described.
Yeah, Yickety Yakety says something I totally agree with. If I see a seller says I use stock photos, and they always give you some razzmatazz about, oh, I list so many books and all this, whatever, man. Take 30 seconds to take some pictures. That's horse crap.
That's like Mile High.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Mile High. There's a couple guys too. There's a guy out of New Jersey that does it, and I won't even look at his listings.
It's not me.
It's not you. So it says DS Comments says like dust filters or glare filters. Yeah. I totally know what he's talking about. I've seen them, and once you've seen one, you know what they look like. Heard bad things about Ace Comic-Con. Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. Some intel on the street. That sleepy reader. That's funny. We could turn this into a bash fest on here too. The sellers we don't like to buy from. Mastodon Comics and Collecting says they have a local Sci-Fi Valley Con next weekend in Altoona, Pennsylvania. That's pretty cool. I've been to Altoona a few times. Steel City Comic Con is in Monroeville 3 times a year. Okay, maybe that's why it's so familiar.
I don't know. I'm still thinking that Monroeville was the place where the mall Dawn of the Dead is located at.
Yeah.
I think. I could be wrong.
Hey, Grandpa Comics, he's here. And Melody. I don't know Melody.
Neither do I.
Biggie Shack, hey, comic people. Tony, I don't want to ruin your last name. Anthony, you're Italian. Can you read that name?
I can't. I don't see the chat.
It would Liardo, something like that. I'm sorry. There's Cradle Comic Con this weekend in Long Island. Huh. Held at the Cradle of the Aviation Museum. That's kind of a cool venue. Okay, Eugene says, Patrick, if you could go to Montreal one day, I highly recommend stopping into her diner at, it must be a French, I can't say that, Au Paiti, whatever, or Joe Beef, or off something or other for sandwiches. All right. I have a vendor up there, Totem Speakers, and they always have a few events every year, but I never find time to go up there.
How far is Montreal from you?
It's a drive. I would probably fly. It would be a short flight, probably less than an hour and a half flight.
How about a drive, though? How long would that be?
It would be long because I'm thinking Boston's like 6.5 for me.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's pretty far north of Boston. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I would fly.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. I couldn't do a long trip like that in the car with Little Reaper. You'd have to be tranquilized, like.
Yeah, get some ketamine and light them up.
Like a tranquilizer dart gun.
So KBDM says, do you guys ever buy comic mystery boxes or any mail order boxes? I don't. I see that, and I think they used to be real popular when I first got back into the hobby. The comic chases I noticed on eBay, and I don't see them as much anymore. Maybe I'm not looking for them, but where they would have a key book in 1 out of 100 chance of getting it. So they would put these lots together, and you'd pay $20 or whatever, and you had a chance of getting a Silver Age key. Apparently.
No, I don't do that.
Let me see here. Scratch Squad. What do you think the sweet spot is for Batman Adventures? Maybe a 9.4. You mean as far as? Well, I guess I always have to ask questions when you guys ask questions. So his question, I think, is, what's the sweet spot probably for buying that? And my guess is for a personal collection. That question came from Scratch Squad. I would say that sounds about right if you're getting it for yourself, because 9.4 to me is a really nice book, but it isn't until you get to 9.6 and then 9.8 you just pay through the roof for. You know, now if you're going to get it to invest in, I think you probably got to stick with the 9.6 or higher. Because there's fewer of them. You need to, any book like that, and it isn't just this book, go look at the census and see how many of an item there are. Because if there are 3,000-4,000 of them floating around out there, well, I wouldn't invest in a book like that unless it's ultra hot, like a Hulk 181 or something like that. So definitely take a look at the census and see where the break is. I can tell you from the experiment that Mike and I did, where I took like 50 late 80s, early 90s, fairly common, but kind of books that people would want, like say New Mutants 100, the first appearance of X-Force. I think I submitted 5 or 6 of them, and I got 4 9.8s, I think, and 1 9.6. Well, I still have the 9.6, and you know, I had 2 of them because I sold one of them, one for 50, and then I think I have another one listed for $49. So, but the 9.8 sold almost immediately for like $150. So the difference between a 9.6 and 9.8 is more than double, and usually from a 9.4 to a 9.6 is more than double.
Yeah,
so
that's where the price really jumps.
Yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I would say if that book is going to be for you, a 9.4, if you want a really high-grade book that's still affordable, I think 9.4 is kind of a sweet spot. I like 9.2s myself too, but I don't collect anything higher than an 8.0. I just don't feel the need. I'd rather sell it and get 3 8.0s than have 1 9.4. But
that makes sense.
All right. Next question. Damien has a question. Are cons the best places for deals? I don't know. For me, the deals are where you find them. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes you can get an inexperienced seller on eBay. The thing about that is there's so many sharks in the water on eBay that, I mean, you just think of the guys on this show. If it was just us, everyone on this chat tonight is fairly knowledgeable about comics. So say someone listed a Werewolf by Night for $300 and it was like a 9.4, 9.6. That book wouldn't last very long at all.
No,
it would get snapped up. Now at a con, someone may not be looking for that book, and if someone doesn't have it on a wall and it's in a small stack of books and you're just going through the books, that can happen. The other thing that can happen, Damien, is, and Mike and I have experienced this, where these guys will get a collection like the night before, or a couple days before. They haven't had any time to go through it and price it. So you can go through and pull out a stack of nice Silver Age books a lot and just make them an offer on it. And I don't try to rip people off. I try to make a fair offer, and I think a lot of guys will sense that. Like if you grab a stack of Silver Age and you say $100, they know that there's no way that that's accurate. So just try to be fair with it. But for me, I get the best deals buying in person. I like to buy in person and sell online. I like to sell online because there's so many more people. It's such a bigger opportunity. Now I know people like Nick and others have had a great success buying on eBay in other places. I guess I'm not as trusting. I like to hold a book in my hand before I buy it. If I'm going to spend, $5, $6, $7, $100 on something, I want to make sure I can count the pages, look at the staples, check for color, touch, look for pieces added, that kind of thing. And I'm maybe others are good enough at it. I'm not good enough looking at pictures on a computer screen to do that. So that's my answer. I don't know what you think about it.
No, I think it makes sense. I mean, I've noticed when it comes to getting deals, sometimes eBay does really come through, but it's more times when it comes to an auction.
Yeah,
I can't tell you how many times I've won books or things in an auction for way less than what it usually goes for, and buy it now, or what it's offered at that I buy it now. And I've had success. I haven't had any problems with incomplete books or restoration or anything like that. But yeah, I would probably like to look at things too. Whenever I go to my local comic shop, I always ask he lets me just go take the stuff off the wall. I always go through it anyway, just in case, because I like the idea.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah. You never know. Sometimes it could be a coupon that's clipped out, but you don't really notice it because it blends so well with the next page.
Yeah, I know. In some of the Bronze Era's books too, there was a time where you could have 4 pages in a row of ads. So if that one double spread is gone, you wouldn't even probably notice it or even think about it.
And
it was during the mile high, so it would have been in like 81, I want to say.
But also though with Silver Age, there are a lot of pinups in some of those books. You may not that they could be taken out, but they don't interfere with the story at all.
No, you're right.
No, you would never know. And
we got a couple people showed up here. I see Justin Rican and his comics. Hello. He does a neat show where he tries to recognize people with under 1,000 subs, which is kind of nice. And then there's XAVI Estrada. He has a question, and I think you'd be more akin to answer this because this sounds like a strategy you just detailed. It said, would you guys give a lower offer knowing you would take it for higher? Therefore, when you come back with a higher offer, it sounds better. So that's like some mental gymnastics. So I don't know. In his question, are you trying to make yourself feel better, or are you trying to make the dealer feel better? I don't know. I tend to just make one offer, and it's my best offer, and if they don't like it, I walk away. Or I'll move on.
I mean, sometimes I usually don't. I usually won't lowball somebody unless I know I'm just not going to get it. If I'll just lowball somebody, I think maybe I take a risk with that. If they say no, then it's like, oh, okay, no big deal. But I usually just try to make a sensible offer.
Yeah.
I don't try to play the game like, I'll offer this guy 150 and he's going to come back at 175, and then I'm going to offer. It's a waste of my time.
Yeah. No doubt. Yeah, and what's weird is sometimes you get the feeling that you can tell quickly sometimes a dealer that must love a book and he just has it up on his wall and he really doesn't want to sell it. He's kind of just like, look at me, I'm a big time dealer. Look at these great books, and there's like crazy prices on it. I went to a show last fall, and guy had Silver Surfer 1 up on the wall, and it was a nice copy, probably like an 8.5, I think, maybe an 8.0, and he had like 2,700 on it. So I thought it was a dollar sign next to 7. So I walked over to look at it, and then I saw $2,700, and I'm just like, he's like quadruple the price that book was going for. I'm like, he must really love Silver Surfer, and he doesn't want anyone to buy it. I just wanted to say, hey, I think I want this, just to see if his face would turn white.
I mean, I see a lot of dealers like that. One at the East Coast Con in particular. He goes to other shows too. Tony Toth will know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to say his name though, the dealer. But some of the prices, you look at it. I think he was selling a giant size X-Men, maybe a 7.0 for a ridiculous amount of money. And it was like, where did that number come from? Now, you don't want to go up to him and say that because you come like a jerk. And he's genuinely, it seems like he's a nice guy, but I'm just like, some of these people, you just wonder, like they're just waiting for somebody to just buy it flat out, and where they can just
and I see that a lot. I know when I first list like a whole slug of books on eBay, that first day I sell 4 or 5, and I usually that first day that is a little bit of an inflated price, so I have enough wiggle room.
Yeah.
And some of these guys, they just pounce on it immediately. So, kind of feel bad, but you feel bad until you see your PayPal account grow.
And then when you're in a position to buy an Amazing Fantasy 15,
that's that or something else. I mean, there are key books like that, and Hulk one I would like, but I don't. The Hulk one right now, I think is just it's. I don't know. I feel like it's inflated. I don't feel the price is right, and that's just me saying that. Obviously, the market is what the market is. Something's only worth what someone will pay for it. So.
And I guess there are people out there willing to pay whatever.
There are. But if I come across one, I'll get it. And that's not to say too, like a Journey into Mystery 83 is a book that someday I want. So if I'm at a con and it's a great price, yeah, I'll buy it. It's not on my like tier 1 or what I call my tier 1 list, but I would still buy it anyway because it's a book I know someday I want to have. So.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would look at these questions here. These guys are all talking about different people they bought books from and stay away from. Yeah. Mastodon Comics said yes. Most of Romero films were in Monroeville area. Yeah.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
I think the original Night of the Living Dead was filmed down there.
I would like to go visit the cemetery where that was originally filmed. I know it's a bit of a drive from me, but I'd like to go to that cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
Off topic.
At nighttime, would you go at nighttime?
I would.
Oh wow! I find graveyards peaceful. They don't spook me at all.
No. What's the worst that could happen? A zombie eat you?
Yeah. Or you get turned into one.
Hey, that sounds pretty cool.
Oh my gosh, there's no questions. These guys they're answering each other's questions.
See, they don't even need us anymore.
I know. Oh, Bub's here. Hey, Bub. I don't see any other questions. So,
the show's almost over anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, the questions were pretty good, as they usually are.
Yeah, these guys, I love when they get chatting with each other. I have no idea how many is coming on. And I heard something, too, that YouTube's going to change how they show how many subs a channel has.
I don't know.
It's just going to be in round numbers, like it'll be 3,000.
Oh, yeah, I've noticed that now. Yeah, I've noticed that. Okay, yeah.
So, and I guess the eventual plan is to not show it at all, except for in your own analytics. I guess I get that. I think it's kind of the same idea as like when you go to a private school and you have uniforms, so that everyone has the same uniform, so no one feels bad, or if they can't afford certain clothing or whatever. It's all the same. Everyone's consistent. And I think that with some some YouTube channels, I think some people subscribe to them just because they have 100,000 followers. Think, well, it must be good. They don't ever actually look at the content and decide if it's any good or not. And I think what it does is it keeps smaller content people down. They can't grow unless they have some kind of video that goes viral. And almost all of the really big YouTubers had a viral moment, and that's where they all took off. Because now, if you watch their channels, they really don't. They're not experts on anything any longer. They maybe made 10, 15 great videos on some topic that they were an expert on. Now it's mostly just like them going to a store or going to buy coffee and what socks they bought that day. They're just these inane videos. And I tried like some of these really big ones, and I'm not going to say their names because I don't want to feed that beast. But I was like, who's watching this stuff? Why would you spend your time? I watched this guy the other day with sunglasses. He spray painted his sunglasses and then scraped them off. And this was a video. And then I look, and he's got like, I don't know, 8 million people that watch this guy.
Oh, wow.
What? Who's watching? And then I started thinking it might be kids. I mean, most of these people, their subs are probably 13 to 10-year-old boys, that think skateboarding late into your 40s is cool. I don't know. Anyway, my stay off my land is showing. Let's talk about cemeteries. You guys need to have an offline conversation here, I think.
I love cemeteries. So does my son.
Well, that's a good thing. They won't be scared of them.
No, he's not.
Wait a minute. Ed's talking about a cemetery here in Rochester. Speaking of cemeteries, I always thought it was bizarre how the big cemetery in Rochester is right across the street from the hospital. Motivation for the patients as they look out the window. Yeah, and it's just easier, too. They don't even need to take them in a truck. They just push them in the gurney.
Here we have the Princeton Cemetery, and me and my wife, we found the Melendez parents, their gravestones.
Really?
Menendez, not Melendez. Menendez.
Yeah, Menendez.
They had a business off of, I think, Witherspoon, and until the kids blew them away. And,
yeah, they shot the mom, and they didn't kill her, so they had to go to the store and buy more bullets. That's how the story went. They actually had to kind of bring her to, wake her to, and ask her where her purse was, so they could steal money to go buy bullets to kill her. Not that that's funny, but I just remember that detail on 2020 or whatever it was. It's really
so twisted.
Yeah, really twisted. Yeah, Damien says I think kids drive the big channels. Yeah, he's right. Oh yeah, Messon's right. Genealogy stuff is great to do it at the cemetery.
Hmm.
You know, a lot of times birth and death records aren't very accurate, and I know that when I got into this, they had my grandmother's birthday was like 3 years wrong because I, you know, they have a birth certificate, so I know how old she was. But some of the online things aren't real accurate.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, yep. So you got anything big going on this weekend other than the con?
No, nothing really. I mean, just me and Little Reaper. My wife's gonna be working, so.
Yeah. Well, I'll be working on my books tonight, and then all day tomorrow. Probably a little bit Friday. I think we got something going on Friday night, and then or early Saturday I go to Mike's and we grab everything. We go set up. So I will be doing some video from there. I don't know if I'm going to do live because I don't know how the coverage is going to be, if there is even Wi-Fi. But I'll definitely get footage from there, and it'll be in a video coming out. I do plan. I alluded to it a little bit yesterday that I'm going to change my channel up a little bit. And you know, I do want to do some longer videos. I am, now that the weather's broke, I do want to do one where I'm going to go and take books that I bought, you know, 40 some years ago and take them back to the original place where they were purchased. I think that'd be kind of fun to do. And then
Kind of surreal.
and all these comic trips that I make, usually that I seem to make more in the summer than I do any other time of the year. I definitely do a video of that.
All right.
So I would have to go to Lutron training again in Coopersburg this year, but I don't have any certifications coming up because that would have been fun. This time too, we would have gone right to Doc's house and pounded on his door.
Yes, that should be one of the things I do over the summer. I'm gonna go to Doc's house, you know, just open up the window, climb in, sit in his chair, and just
do a video from. That would be great if you did a video from his little studio and then left and didn't tell him, and then he'd be watching it later that night.
I can just imagine him like, "What the?"
He wouldn't care if you, as long as you mylar'd like a short box before you left, he'd be happy.
Well, he wouldn't care. You know, I mean, maybe he wouldn't care if it were me, but you know, someone else. I don't advise doing that.
Mount Hope Cemetery. That's it, Ed.
One place I went to when it comes to cemeteries, Friday the 13th was filmed here in New Jersey, you know, north.
Yeah.
Last summer, I found the cemetery where the first Friday the 13th, where the hitchhiker girl was dropped off. It's the Moravian Cemetery.
Oh, yeah.
I had a great time taking pictures of myself in front of that. Just by the town where she was hitchhiking, the opening scene, where she's going to the gas station.
You know, you should do a video there. Do a shot-for-shot retake. Only you.
I want to do that. I want to go back up there.
Yeah.
I love it.
I see Captain Kirk popped in. He had he got back some really nice slabs recently.
Captain Kirk?
Yeah. Steven Spock is here. I owe him 16 seconds because my 2-minute Tuesday was short. 16 seconds. No more questions. All right, everybody. Well, we're 8:01. I know we came on at 7:03. Technical questions, shoot us with it, or let us know in the week. I know Anthony's got a whole bunch of series that you started. You just started a new one too, right?
I released a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty soon.
I want to see the creature ones. I want to see how far back you're going to go.
That's already made. Those are already made. I just
okay.
That'd be out in a couple of weeks. Next week, my next comic book haul.
You know what's funny is you noted how jacked the Mummy was in his first appearance.
Mm-hmm.
If you look in his later appearances, he's not like that.
Yeah, I got to take a look at them. I have a few of them.
My favorite in that series is he's trapped in water's coming in. These like Anubis heads are. I don't know which number that is. I have it, but that's a great cover, and he has more of a shambly look to him.
Okay,
yeah.
So like
the other one, I mean, he's like. He looks like an NFL player that's just like a burn victim. He's wrapped in rags.
Yeah, looks like he escaped the hospital.
Yeah, and he was super strong, which I never understood because why would you be stronger when you're? Well, I guess because you're supernatural. Yeah.
You know, whatever. But I still thought I love Mummy covers.
Yeah, no, Mummy covers are cool. I love all the monsters. I really wish Universal would get their act together and make good. You know, good
I'd like to see the Universal monsters versus the modern day monsters like Freddy Krueger and Michael Myers and the Xenomorph. They'll probably get their asses handed to them within 5 minutes, but you know.
Yeah. I read Monsters Unleashed, and it started that way, but that's not how it ended. You know, the Silver Rage monsters rallied and actually helped drive them back. EC Ed said, eventually make another video. After I get my comics to Salt Lake City, I have to figure out my new setup will be. It's looking like I won't have a dedicated comic room here either. Well, Ed, I feel your pain there. I don't have a dedicated comic room here. I kind of have a comic area, but it is in the basement. And for those of us that are paranoid about moisture, I can't store my books down there. So there'll be books down there that when I'm reading them or putting them in a video if I need to show them to people. But for the most part, it's just going to be where I go down and read. I'll keep all my trades and stuff down there. It's dry, but it's not as dry as here.
Well, according to my roommate, it's 39% humidity in this room.
It's pretty good. It's pretty low.
Yeah. I have like a bunch of stuff keeping humidity down, but eventually I'm going to have to give up this room too.
Yeah, as you get more offspring.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's just, it came down to it, and my comics are a lot less now. When I had 25 long boxes that I don't have anymore, and right now I have 24 short boxes.
I have about 7 or 8 long boxes. I wish I could get rid of about 5 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I have no desire to keep them. I have like my private stock in these hard BCW.
Oh yeah, yep.
Video I showed, but I have no desire to keep the rest.
No, that's where I am, and that's why I'm going to really try to sell some stuff at this show on Saturday. And then what I don't there, I'll just keep moving forward. I really don't want to sell on eBay, so I'm very interested in seeing how Nick's thing goes. If that goes well, I think I would probably like to do something similar to where I'll just show lots of books and people can send me an email and tell me what if they want them or not, and I'll box them all up and weigh them.
Yeah, seems to be the way to go.
Yep.
Well, thank you all for watching.
Thank you all for and to our channels. You'll see more videos coming your way. Mike, let me know earlier today. One of our CGC shows Tuesday, I think, next week. And we have 3 more after that. Lots of CGC.
I'm looking forward to it.
See y'all next week.
Take care.